Buongiorno. Today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Lucila Mariani, director of Luna que se quiebra sobre la tiniebla de mi soledad, in English, Moon that cracks over the darkness of my loneliness. This film is screened as part of our new science competition, and the film had its international premiere at the Lago Film Festival last summer as part of their Pardi di Domani international competition. The film has also screened at Mar del Plata International Film Festival and Festival de Jóvenes Realizadores de Granada. So, welcome, Lucila. So now you're unmuted. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And I wanted to start by asking you if you could tell us a bit about this film in your own words.
So the process of the film, it started back in 2020 during the pandemic. And I had the idea of working with this actress that I usually work with in the distance. So we started doing this like video calls and trying to record some stuff with the webcam, using just the webcam. And then I started writing, and a year after that, we shot when we had the chance to do it. So the film has this first part that is more virtual, like she gets hacked by an entity that we don't know. And the second half of the film is more a vampire film. And the idea was playing with different genres and exploring different topics that are usually, I guess, more connected to the genre. And I wanted to do it more experimental and trying new stuff.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of connects with my second question, which is like, how did you come up with this idea of a sort of vampire virus that hacks into a computer? Was that sort of related to the pandemic, or were you interested in this genre before?
Well, during the pandemic, I watched a lot of films, I guess like everyone else. And I started watching more vampire films that I used to really enjoy when I was younger. I used to really like Twilight and that kind of films. And so I wanted to do something that like made me connect with myself when I was a teenager, with some stuff that I liked that weren't really like, I guess, like cool or intellectual, and trying to do a film with that. So that's why the idea of working with a vampire genre came to the film.
Mm-hmm. And also something that really interests me about the film is, as you said, like you mentioned before, like the technology and sort of, obviously we see a lot of scenes in the movie where she's very absorbed by screens, and we obviously relate to that because of the pandemic. So then obviously as well, before in the past when we would download films sort of from dodgy streaming sites and get virus. So was that sort of like the idea always to connect the two, or kind of they came together because of the setting where you were? And if you could tell us a bit more about the sort of relationship with technology in this film.
Mm-hmm. I've been really interested in that, in our connection with technology, especially when, during the pandemic, that was all we had. But at the same time, again, going back into my life, I guess when I was a teenager, it was the way I learned pretty much everything. Like I discovered films, and I discovered music, and I downloaded all this stuff, and I also connected a lot with different people. So I guess I always wanted to explore the intimacy in my characters, and I thought that was a good way of exploring intimacy, but also like connecting it with the outside world. Doesn't make sense, like her connection, like how herself alone, like the character would connect with other people um, but at the same time, I didn't want to show the real world in the film, so it was very like self-absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, no, sorry. I actually also I watched one of your films before. I haven't watched the second one, but I wanted to ask you about yeah, both Wek Windu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, and Resonancias and or Echoes. And I kind of felt there was a connection between these three. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in these three short films, the story is sort of driven by a female character who is undergoing changes after a significant event has happened to her and has affected her both in a physical but also sensorial way. So, for example, in Wek Windu is about a first period of a girl. In Resonancias or Echoes is water going through the protagonist's ear and affecting her. And then this short film is a vampire virus hacking through the protagonist's computer and sort of changing her way of perceiving her surroundings, and as you said, like her relationship to others. So is this something that you are interested in exploring in your work, the sort of changes in perception through physical changes in specifically in female bodies, or is just something that happened to be in these three films?
No, definitely. That's why I was saying about the intimacy of my characters, because in these three shorts and also one that I'm working on in my feature film, it's always about like centering one character, and I also I'm really interested in different genres and mixing different genres, playing with the idea we have of certain genres like horror or fantasy, comedy also. And I'm trying to, what I would like to do is to create a language, trying to blend all these genres, but exploring a character and like the identity of a character and the intimacy of a character. I'm really interested in those moments when we are alone and what happens in there, and how I think um, trying to explore the way a character feels when it's alone, I think allows me to change what can happen in the films, because I guess they get tainted with the perception of the characters.
Mm-hmm. And maybe looking at this still from the film, which I thought it was very suggestive, and we see all those two points of view, and then they kind of come together. Could you tell us a bit more about the process of making this film? So we start in a very indoor setting, that we all recognize very well, like very pandemic setting. We're all at home by ourselves with our phones. Um, and computers, and then the second part of the film we are kind of like outside in the world, and this obviously is a very interesting sort of change because still the relationships we see in the out world are very strange, very pandemic like as well. If you like the separation, people enter but not enter, people kind of look at each other in a mysterious way. So yeah, could you tell us a bit more about the process of how, you know, when you had the idea clear in your head of what you wanted to do with the story, how that translated visually, and your collaborations with your team to sort of achieve what you did?
So at first we started recreating the camera that, I told you that we were trying to do it in distance with my actress, with the actress I always work with, Jenny Merla. And then I started writing a script, and we re-recorded those moments with the crew, and we started shooting the outside world parts also. And we worked with people that actually worked in those, because there's a cafe and then there's a bar, and I wanted to work with people that actually worked there. And yeah, I guess it takes a lot of things from my neighborhood and the people I know, but also I wanted to recreate this virtual space. And regarding this particular frame, I wanted to try and work a little like with telenovelas. I don't know what's the word in English for that, but like soap
So,
opera.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And trying to do something that was very cheesy and yeah, not very cinematographic, but putting it together with in the film.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, sort of like moving on to your next projects. Can you tell us a bit more about that? If you can share any details in the moment.
Yeah, I'm working mostly on my feature film, Los Días Libres, the days off. This year we participated at La Fabrique in Cannes with the project, and I'm going to the Locarno Filmmakers Academy and Fundación Carolina, which is development lab that I'm going to be doing in Spain. So I'm very excited about that. And the film also it follows like some themes that I've been exploring like the female childhood and the interaction with technology. It's a film about a girl who spends the summer in Buenos Aires. Her name is Begoña, and she starts using a lot of TikTok, and she meets a community of people that kind of drag her into a more magical world. So it explores those themes as well. And I'm probably going to shoot another short film because I try to do it at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully,
So for you, it's not over the fact that you are making a feature-length film. That doesn't prevent you from making more short films. You don't
no,
see them as,
I,
some
I
filmmakers,
really like.
once they do the leap onto feature length, they don't do short films anymore.
No, I think I really like the format of short films because it's just like an episode in a way, and I
Mm-hmm.
really like that. I think I really enjoy also like writing those stories because it feels like short stories in a way, and you can just it's very like it's there. It's I really like that, and I see myself doing more shorts during my career. I think there are some directors like Apichatpong Wirasetaku. He does he still makes short films, and I think that's very interesting also.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Lucila, and
Thanks.
yeah, well done for this short film. And also forgot to say, well, the film is part of the New Science competition, and the festival runs from the 21st to the 29th of July in Lago. So please come. We have a €16 ticket to enjoy the whole festival, the whole 9 days, and you can watch this film and many others as part of that. So thanks again, Lucila, for joining us today
Thank you.
from all the way from Buenos Aires, thanks to the magic
Thanks.
of the internet. And yeah, good luck with your new projects, and we will be looking forward to watching this new project and any other short films as well that you decide to make.
Thank you. And also, yeah, go watch the film. And if you like it, just write to me on Instagram. And if you don't, also. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.